Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Sophie, who had a deep love for birds. She was fascinated by the sounds they made and the way they soared in the sky. Every morning, she would wake up before dawn to listen to the birds sing at sunrise. She would sit outside on her porch and close her eyes, letting the sweet melody fill her heart. Sophie especially loved parrots and doves. She admired their vibrant colors and their melodious voices. She would often watch them fly from tree to tree in search of food and water. However, she despised seeing them in cages. She believed that birds were meant to fly free and sing wherever they pleased. Sophie lived in a large neighborhood where the majority of the residents didn't share her love for birds. They preferred to keep them in cages as pets or for decoration. Sophie felt that this was cruel and unfair. She yearned to create an environment where birds could fly and sing freely, without being restricted. One day, Sophie decided to take matters into her own hands. She took a walk around her neighborhood, analyzing the different houses and gardens. After much thought, she realized that her own backyard would be the perfect place to create a small paradise for the birds. Sophie gathered her parents and shared her idea with them. At first, they looked at her with disbelief and thought it was just a childish whim. However, after seeing the passion in their little girl's eyes, they decided to help her out. Together, they went to the gardening store and bought flowers, plants, and trees that Sophie knew the birds would love. They also installed bird feeders and provided them with clean water, ensuring that the garden would be an ideal home for the birds. After weeks of hard work, Sophie's garden was finally ready. It was a beautiful sanctuary where the birds could fly and sing freely. Sophie would often spend hours just watching them, feeling a sense of peace and tranquility. One day, Sophie noticed a family of doves in the garden. She named them Coco and Quincy and was delighted when they made their nest in one of the trees that Sophie had planted. She watched as they took turns flying in and out of the garden, bringing food and water for their little ones. Sophie's garden attracted various other birds, including parrots, canaries, and finches. All of them started to feel safe and secure in Sophie's garden. They would sing and chatter to their heart's content, and Sophie would listen, admiring their beauty and grace. Over time, Sophie's garden became a beacon of hope for the birds in her neighborhood. It was a place where they could be free and happy, and Sophie was their protector and guardian. Her love for birds had not only created a haven for them but had also brought her closer to her family and her community. Word soon spread about Sophie's garden, and her neighbors started to show an interest in it. They would often come over to admire the birds and the surroundings. Sophie would always be happy to show them around and educate them on the importance of letting birds fly free. Sophie's garden had taught her that sometimes, the smallest of actions could have the most significant impact. All it took was one person to make a difference, and the world could become a better place. She had learned that one had to stand up for what one believed in and fight for what was right. Years later, Sophie became a renowned ornithologist, specializing in the study and protection of birds. She had dedicated her life to the cause and was determined to make sure that people understood the importance of letting birds fly free. She never forgot what her garden had taught her and hoped that others would follow in her footsteps. In the end, Sophie's garden had become the birthplace of a lifelong journey towards the protection of birds, and her passion for them had left a positive impact far beyond what she had ever imagined.